episode number 106 of the KH-Vids Podcast. This week we're going to be talking about Kingdom Hearts 2.9 and Kingdom Hearts 3. So with us today you have your usual hosts of myself, Misty.
And me, libregkd.
And me, Calxiyn.
And as our member guest we have...
Hi, I'm Heart.
Yay! So, on the note of member guests, I've talked about it on, at this point, like 3 podcast episodes, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We made some changes to our member guest system, and I'm going to tell you about them right now. Previously, what we would do is we just had a list of people that applied to be member guests, and we would approach people pretty much at random, and see if they were available for the episode, and that's kind of why we didn't have member guests all that often, because it was not a bad system, but a...
It relied on us to be organized.
That, and it was just kind of inefficient, because, like, you would be waiting for a reply from someone, and, like, you didn't want to send somebody else and offer it to them, and just, it's this big whole mess. So we made some changes to it. Now, when you apply to be a member guest, you'll be given access to a section, and in that section, we will post up every week saying, like, this is our next episode of the podcast, this is the topic, this is when we're planning to do it. If you're available for that time and interested in the topic, post, and from the people that post, we will select a member guest. Pretty simple, and it seems like it's going to be working out a lot better because we've had it in motion for this episode and the previous episode, and both of them have featured member guests, so good on us.
No staff guests, though.
That. Yeah, that's a little disappointing, because we used a similar kind of system in our staff section to get staff guests, and we had staff guests in the past, and now we don't have staff guests, so I don't know what's going on with them. I'll yell at them. Yeah, but I figured that, like, now we have, like, an established, like, universal system for it, that I'm gonna stop, like, going in the Skype chat and being like, does anyone want to be on the podcast? And then somebody says, like, I guess I can do it. Like, no, they can conform to the system and do it. Yeah. Plus, if one of them does not volunteer to be on the episode, then I say, like, okay, we'll just have 2 member guests then if we have 2 members who volunteer. And I would rather do that, because, again, it's punishment for them not being organized and replying to my threads. So, moving along, usually we say, now it's time for Kingdom Hearts news and updates, but our topic this week revolves around the Kingdom Hearts news for the week, so gonna skip right by that and move right into the topic. So, this guy, Richard W. Van Deventer?
That's a great last name, by the way.
Van Deventer? I don't know. His LinkedIn profile lists work for something called Kingdom Hearts 2.9, which is not the first time we've heard that title, but we'll get to that. He lists work for this game, Kingdom Hearts 2.9, on his profile, and it's weird because we don't have, like, any kind of official stance on that. This is, like, kind of the first time we're hearing about it. It appeared briefly on, when E3 was going on, and I think it was a list of, like, games that Square Enix was planning to show. Something called Kingdom Hearts 2.9 was listed there. I don't remember where the list came from, and, like, pretty quickly people were like, nah, this isn't real, and of course Square didn't show anything called Kingdom Hearts 2.9 at E3, so we all thought that it was just like, oh, maybe somebody, like, photoshopped an image and it started circulating and that's where it came from. But now it seems like it might actually be a thing, which is funny because this is a horrible title for anything that you're going to be putting out.
I mean, is it really? I mean,
is it worse than 358 over 2 days, though?
No.
No.
358 over 2 days was a terrible title also, but 2.9, like, I feel like there's already like, when I tell people, like, oh, you know, play the Kingdom Hearts games, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know they just got, like, remastered for the PlayStation, they're like, but what the hell is this 2.5 business? Like, people are already confused, so to make it 2.9 is, like, it's such a random...
Yeah, I mean, it make... I'm trying to add logic to the title, but
I understand what they're doing. They're trying to make it, like, before Kingdom Hearts 3, but, like, come on.
And maybe they'll use Roman numerals, so it'll be a Roman numeral 2 dot Roman numeral 9, and that's a 13 backwards.
Well, actually, for the previous HD remixes, it has been Roman numeral .5, like, not Roman numeral 5, which is, oh, God.
So,
like,
but then that'd be a 13 backwards.
Oh, yeah. So it's just really messy, what this is and why the title is what it is. And so I think that's the big question, like, what is the game exactly? Yeah. Because some people, you know, before E3, we were pretty confident that we'd get at least a Dream Drop Distance HD remaster and / or a collection of the HD remasters on the PlayStation 4. So that's what, obviously, this probably is. Do you guys have any thoughts about whether it's going to be, like, just Dream Drop Distance?
I'm kind of up in the air about that because I mean, given this guy's work on what 2.9 is, I'm curious about what exactly it all entails because
we're gonna get to the boss planning and attraction
the weird thing for me about this is that it's being released on both the PS3 and the PS4.
That's what kind of killed it for me. That I don't think that if it was just Dream Drop Distance, I don't think they'd bother porting it to the PlayStation 4 just because the previous HD remasters were just on the PlayStation 3 and they did fine.
Yeah, the entire PS3 and PS4 thing kind of throws me for a loop about what it could be, because it seems weird if it's like a collection of everything. I mean, I guess the work on the PS3 on the other two collections already done for the PS3, so it'd be just a like, hey, here's just a package with everything in it, and then they just do the port work for the PS4. But I'm curious about if it's anything more than just a port, because I'm not entirely sure what else it could be besides that.
Well, I'll talk about this more in if we cover the misinformation about what's happening. But there has been things going around that it's actually Kairi's Keyblade Master training.
Oh my god, why? Who started that?
I don't know, but it was it's a very popular idea because, like, even people that I know aren't on Tumblr or Twitter, my friend was actually like, oh, hey, did you hear about Kingdom Hearts 2.9? Because, you know, it's Kairi's story, and I was just like,
I know nobody can see me.
Where does that even come from?
I know nobody can see me right now, but I'm shaking my head.
I think that what people thought was that since then we're not going to see that at the end of 3D, this might be spoilers for people that haven't seen the secret ending.
At this point, it's fair game.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 3D came out like
been out for how long?
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Years, isn't it? 2012?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, geez, that's a long time. But anyway, that Kairi is under Jensen's training or whatever, so some people were thinking it may be a short, at least, like, cinematic thing about Kairi and, I mean, I guess, and Lee as well, becoming, like, stronger Keyblade Masters, and I don't really know how that started. If that was if that happened, you know what? Great. I would like Kairi to be a protagonist. I don't think so, but that's another thing that people are thinking, that if it is a new game or not just a port, that is what it is.
It almost definitely is not a new game. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
not,
maybe on some off chance it will come out as being a new game and I'll have to eat my words, but at this point I feel pretty confident saying this is not a new game. And one of the most basic reasons being that if this was a new game following like Kairi's story or Lee's story or whatever the hell they decided to do, they would give it an actual title. They wouldn't make it 2.9.
Yeah, like when I think it's more than a port, it's like I feel like it's more than just what the HD remaster things were. If that makes sense.
We're gonna get to that when we talk about some of the listings underneath Kingdom Hearts 2.9. But Cal, is that the only weird rumor that's I feel like we're doing like rumor watch with Cal, but
yeah,
is like
sort of. I mean, I think that people don't think that it's gonna be a brand new game, but more like, you know, a cutscene or just like a brief thing to do with them, which I wouldn't. I mean, that's probably just as likely, but it makes a little bit more sense. Some other things I've seen were just I don't know. It's so weird because people were saying that they must be adding just other things, like maybe something from Chi, like not cinematics from Chi, but like some cutscene to tie in with Chi that may be added, like stuff like that. It's just,
I think that's
what
more
if this
likely.
thing?
That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird to think about, and a lot of people are like, well, you know, the other two remasters, they had 3 games, so if it's 3D and then maybe, you know, the cutscene thing, like, they all had a cutscene type thing instead of the actual game, like, recoded, and then 358, so people are like, well, maybe, I don't know.
The only reason I couldn't see them doing, like, a cutscene movie like they did for 358 over 2 days and recoded, in an upcoming HD remaster is just that Chi is, like, coming out soon.
Yeah.
And they would want to encourage people to play Chi, especially because it'll probably have microtransactions. Does it have microtransactions, actually? Now that it's out, I guess I can ask that.
I think it just if I was going... I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Japanese, but probably.
Yeah, if I was going to guess, then probably in the same vein as, like,
Record keeper, yeah.
Yeah, other Square Enix things.
Seen so far with the I think that it has to do with, like, their style things. I don't think that they have anything to do with the game. Because I see people, like...
Hats.
Hats, hair... if anybody like actually picked up Recoded, there was a little thing in there where you could decorate your avatar like you can in Chi, and they had all like hairstyles, and then I think there were outfits in there. I think that was Recoded.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, they would want to encourage people to play Chi, and like especially because there was that thought with the other HD remasters of like these games have been out for a long time and not everyone has played them, so let's cover them. Whereas with Chi, like pretty much anyone can play it because everybody has a smartphone these days. I'm sorry if you don't, but most people have smartphones these days, so anyone can play it. And like obviously they would want to drive audience to that. They don't want people to say like, oh, I'll just watch the cutscene movie and potentially miss out on that revenue for microtransactions. But like a secret ending or like a short cutscene, that's absolutely plausible. We get those in every HD remaster. So like having like a little cutscene where they like cover Kairi in training or something or anything, that is absolutely fine and plausible. I'm okay with that, but it's not going to be a whole game.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
movie of that.
Like they had stuff in 2, I think, that they added where it was just like the thing about Aqua's armor, and then there was actually something with Axel that I can vaguely remember of him talking to Zexion, and that or maybe that was Syx, but anyway, he was just like, yeah, you know, I just found this new guy. His name is like Mar something, so it was a
There were a lot
time.
of stuff in 2.
Yeah, stuff like that that I don't know if
like
that was in the final mix or not.
Yeah,
I think
Final Mix added like 9 new cutscenes.
Yeah, those
maybe that they'll do
things.
something like that then, if they're gonna do anything.
Do like a Dream Drop Distance final mix?
Yeah, sorta. I mean, like, what happened with Lee and everything was kind of, we saw like hints of it happening, but we still weren't like, I feel like that there is a lot that they could do there to add stuff like they did in Kingdom Hearts 2 in, where they're explaining like some backstory stuff and how they would explained just, you know, like the stuff with Aqua's armor and the chamber and whatever else. I think that they could add in things like that, and that would be interesting.
I'm always excited to see more about Lee. He's my favorite.
See, I'm not really on board with the whole Lee thing. Axel is such like... I mean, Axel started as a minor character who was meant to die in Kingdom Hearts 2. And fans loved him so much that they decided to, like, bring him back and make him, like, a bigger deal. But it just... He always feels like a minor character that was kind of pushed into being a major character to me.
I mean, he's not the only one that's coming back, though. I mean, there are a couple other characters, like, I guess, I mean, you could say the same thing about Syx, that he was a bigger character, maybe, in 2, but he's still somebody that maybe was supposed to die, but now he's back because, you know, Xehanort powers or whatever, so.
But... First of all, the entire reasoning for keeping Axel around was just that the fan reaction to him was so big. Like, in an interview or something, Nomura said, like, everybody on the team was, like, really into Axel, and, like, everybody loved Axel from Chain of Memories, that they kind of tweaked their plans for him.
That was me, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 happened. And then I wasn't as big of a fan of Axel.
Yeah, because he was so cool in Chain of Memories, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 happened, you're like, okay. But, yes, other organization members are coming back and, like, having bigger roles, I guess, but not to the point where they're, like, wielding a goddamn Keyblade. Like, that's big.
To be fair, it seems like everybody's wielding a Keyblade nowadays.
People bitch about that, but I don't really think so. Kairi, Riku, King Mickey, Sora, obviously, Aqua, Ven, and Terra, and then, like...
I mean,
Axel,
when they start giving them, if they started giving them to, like, the Princesses of Heart, or, like, you know,
that would be ridiculous.
Jack accidentally touched it that one time, so he's the Keyblade man. Like, I could understand if people were mad, like that, but I think that for story reasons, it does make sense.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it doesn't make
it makes sense.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, it's just kind of funny.
It's just a little bit of a continuity issue, because like in Kingdom Hearts 1 there was like this whole battle of like who gets to wield the Keyblade, and then suddenly it's like, oh well, it doesn't really matter that Sora has the Keyblade because Riku just like miraculously got one too. That's like the only reason I can see people being upset about it.
Yeah, it's not that I'm upset, I just find it funny from how the Keyblade became this like unique special weapon to just like, well, there's like a whole bunch of them, really.
Well, I think the uniqueness does come from, which this is kind of getting a bit off, but that Sora's Kingdom Key is different than the other ones. Like, I think they talked about how I think they did mention it in Chi, but they did in Birth by Sleep briefly. Like, all of those Keyblades were built. They weren't like Sora's Keyblade, like the Kingdom Key, where it's actually connected to Kingdom Hearts. So I think that there is that kind of uniqueness that's still there about it. It's just, I mean, we see it a lot, so maybe not as much, but if you're looking, like, story-wise, yeah, a lot of people have the Keyblade, but they don't have the right one.
They don't have
exactly. Like, anybody,
special one.
Anybody with metal and, like, blacksmithing abilities could make a Keyblade, theoretically. But it doesn't make it, like, the special Keyblade like Sora has. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I never like it when people are like, oh, everybody has a Keyblade these days. Like, no, you.
Well, thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so moving back to
I was just being joking about this entire thing, and you're just like...
But, like, that's something that people don't joke about. People, like, complain about the series a lot, and, like, there are a lot of complaints, don't get me wrong, to have with the Kingdom Hearts series, but that one is, like, it's been explained very well, and it doesn't feel weird to me.
I just find it funny. I don't find it weird
No,
or
I
anything.
know, I'm just saying you
it's a
brought it
run.
up, and it is, like, a thing within the Kingdom Hearts
I mean,
fandom,
especially compared with other things, like, there are bigger things that you can complain about.
There are a lot more problems that
there are lots
about.
of things that are not as explained, and they didn't go into as much detail that you should be worrying about, not this.
There's a lot that happens in Kingdom Hearts that you're just sitting there like, okay. But, like, the Keyblade, that's the least, like, okay, somebody's carrying around a Keyblade. I'm more concerned about, like, time travel and
Don't get me started.
I mean,
things. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the people who complain about the Keyblade stuff also complain about that too, so it's
but
not like...
the Keyblade, it feels like somebody trying to take, like, unnecessary pot shots at the series. Like, go ahead and criticize the series, I'm all for that, I'm all about that, it has a lot of problems, but, like, the Keyblade, like, really? That's like saying, like, oh, it was a problem of Star Wars, the prequels, that suddenly everyone was a Jedi. No, that was not the problem with the prequels, first of all. The prequels have a lot of problems.
I mean,
that was
to be
the
fair
least
to that, like,
of the prequels' problems.
even in the original Star Wars, we knew that there was a time when, like, there was a bunch of Jedi.
Exactly,
And
it's
Just like
a
Kingdom
time
Hearts, there
period
were a
thing.
lot of Keyblade masters running around, you know?
Yeah, so, like, for somebody to be like, my number one problem with the Star Wars prequels is that there are too many Jedi, like, you're sitting there like, did you watch the fucking movies? Because there's a lot going on there that you can complain about, like, love can't save you, only my new powers can, and just, like, a lot of things. And I don't mean to shit on the Star Wars prequels, I really like the Star Wars prequels, so
They have
fight me.
problems, though. Like,
They have problems, but fight me.
Is this a bad time to mention I've never seen a Star Wars movie?
Yes. It is always a bad time to mention that. It's a bad time to live that.
Don't worry,
Please
Heart,
change
I'll
I mean,
protect you.
you
I
have to
haven't
be
seen
seeing
them
it
either.
everywhere.
You haven't seen them,
Nowadays.
Cal?
Oh, did I not mention that? Oops.
Aren't you supposed to play KOTOR?
You can't even play KOTOR if you haven't seen this. Oh my god. Okay, now we're getting really off topic. Going back to the LinkedIn profile, he lists boss planning and attraction flow under 2.9, which is another reason that people are sitting here thinking, like, what is going on here? So, like, one of the big speculations, of course, is just that they're adding, like, maybe a new boss to Dream Drop Distance or to the collection somehow, and the attraction flow thing is a big question mark. Some people are speculating that it could be a Kingdom Hearts 3 demo being included with it. I don't really see that happening. Just
mostly because it's on the PS3. Like, they wouldn't include unless they can include, like, a voucher, like, hey, if you happen to buy a PS4.
That's possible, or, like, if they just include it on the PS4 version.
Yeah. I also do want to mention, because we're talking about his LinkedIn profile, he also has this up on his, like, professional, portfolio site as well, which, oddly enough, he uses that fake image for 2.9 for his thing, but yeah, that entire boss planning and attraction flow and other kind of stuff that is being done on the 2.9 aspect, it seems... That's one of the reasons why I think it's more than just a, like, oh, here's a 3D port. Though, I guess if you're porting 3D, you would have to rework a few things, considering it's a 2-screen game, even if it didn't completely rely on 2 screens for, you know...
I did not think about that. That's true. I mean, they didn't do that with... I guess they haven't tried that yet, have they? Because 358 Days, that was also 2-screen, and... they just did the movie for that and recoded, so that would be something.
Like, I mean, the stuff in 3D, the 2-screen stuff, it wasn't, I don't want to say it's essential, like, what they were doing with it.
It's just the map, isn't it? I can't remember.
I've never played it, but I believe it's the map, and there's, like, some, like, not mini-game type things, but some, like, menu...
Oh, yeah, I think I'm remembering now, like, with the Dream Eaters and everything.
Yeah.
Because you, like, pet them on the second screen, and then you... Yeah, that's gonna be weird for them to include if they did.
Pet them.
Dude, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
The PS4 has a touchpad. So...
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is on the PS4, but...
I mean, I think that, like, adapting the 2-screen layout to, obviously, like, a console thing could explain the boss planning thing, but the attraction flow is still... Because attraction flow, of course, if you somehow don't know, refers to, like, the Disney ride attacks for Kingdom Hearts 3, you know, like, when he's on the pirate ship and everything and attacking things. One of my thoughts was that if they are kind of rolling a final mix dream drop distance into this, was in Birth by Sleep final mix, they kind of added that part at the ends of Aqua, like, kind of roaming around the world of darkness and, like, fighting that one boss. So, like, I guess it would be possible that they add, like, a short little gameplay segment where you maybe use some of the attacks that they're planning from Kingdom Hearts 3 and kind of trial run them.
That'd be really interesting.
I think it would be too. I don't see them doing like a full-fledged KH3 demo like they did with Final Fantasy 15 for Type 0, just because Kingdom Hearts 3, first of all, is a ways away still to me. I don't think it's coming out anytime soon, and it doesn't seem like time for a demo.
Yeah, I mean, like...
I mean, I would love a demo, but...
Like, I mean, the thing about it, well, I mean, if a demo came out with, I mean, depending on when 2.9 came out, if a demo came out with it, it would probably be about the same distance of time between the 15 demo and 15 comes out.
That's true,
but like I'm just not sure. Like that attraction flow thing is interesting to me because I don't see them actually adding like that mechanic into an old game, because that's first of all, that just seems weird.
That would be complicated.
That'd just be weird, and just like there would be a bunch of things you need to replan and balance and all this other stuff if you happen to do that.
I mean, it's totally possible that maybe they just got confused between, because it's the same motion flow and attraction flow. Like it's not the same thing, but I mean, Sora is still bouncing off walls to a certain extent in 3, so maybe they just got it mixed up or something, or maybe they're tweaking the movement somehow of Sora bouncing off things, and then
but even if it was emotion flow thing, that wouldn't be something that you would need to plan and document at this point, because that's a feature that was already implemented, and that's not something you need to plan out again.
Well, they might be rebalancing it. Like, I haven't played Dream Drop Distance, but I hear that flow motion is kind of OP.
It is.
So,
it can get a little bit buggy with what you can and cannot bounce off of. So, they may be
tweaking it. And not just that, but he also worked on Kingdom Hearts 3, or is working on Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm not sure, and we're gonna talk about that, but it's very possible that he just misplaced a bullet point.
Yeah, that is also always a possibility.
It might be much more innocent than what we are speculating. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, the attraction flow thing is really a big question mark, I guess, because I feel confident in saying, it is, at the very least, Dream Drop Distance, probably an HD collection, they're probably going to add some, kind of final mixy stuff to it, but the attraction flow thing is just kind of putting me for a spin, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just kind of...
It's weird.
It's weird. The final mix stuff, but that all having, a new boss, or a new, even a new, area, that's kind of in line with what's been in final mixes before. Mm-hmm. There's been nothing like a brand new mechanic added.
Well, no, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix added some stuff, there was the Slapshot thing, which was really...
but those were abilities built within the existing mechanics of Sora having abilities. It's not
but I'm just saying there is precedent for them, trying out something that they're planning for a future game in Kingdom Hearts 1.
adding attraction flow to 3D would be like adding dry forms to the first Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's a lot more, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, back on the topic of the KH3 demo, though, and talking about, I don't see them doing that also because the reason that they had the Final Fantasy 15 demo is kind of tied to a big problem that I have with Final Fantasy 15's development, which is this, overemphasis on fan input.
Yes.
It's kind of Square Enix like putting out something and being like, you guys like this, right? And
It's
like making sure that they're not.
I saw this mentioned before. It's like Tabata looked at the Final Fantasy 14 things and decided to miss the point completely of those and just tell them everything they're doing instead of like, here's what you can expect next.
Well,
because like the Final Fantasy 14 stuff that they have, they've always like, okay, here's what's going to be in the next patch.
Yeah.
Here's input from all this other stuff. While 15 takes it to like, okay, here's a running animation that we have that is like 80% done.
Well, yeah, that is true, and to an extent I would argue that he's doing that because of the silence that Final Fantasy 15 kind of fans, even though it's not out, so how can you be a fan of it, but Final Fantasy 15 fans have endured for the last, like, 8 years, so I can see him wanting to, like, suddenly have regular news and updates on the game, just to make sure that it's, like, still in people's minds and people are still interested in it, but with Final Fantasy 15, there have been, like, so many surveys and, like, fans tell us what you think of the game and like the demo and all of this stuff.
They have a form. They have a form for that's
a game
completely
that's not
made
even
for,
out.
And it's all for like suggestions on what to do.
Yeah, and
with
like
the game.
The suggestions are being
weird.
taken seriously. Like people say, like I think that there should be airships, and like, well, yeah, we'll add some airships, and it's just like there's way too much of this like crowd sourcing for the game, not like crowdsourcing, like crowdfunding, but like and getting that like. Let's all decide what we want in this game. And that's a problem. If you have ever worked on anything, not just like a game, but any kind of like group project or anything, when too many people are adding ideas into it, you kind of lose that vision of where it's going. And Final Fantasy 15, I think, is going to show like that. It's going to be this weird hodgepodge of like a million different ideas. And the demo is in line with that. It's Square like trying to say like, first of all, this game needs to do well. So we're going to make sure that it has stuff that fans want, and like just an overemphasis on fan input. And I don't see that happening with Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't think that that's the direction that they're taking, and so a demo would be kind of weird for that. But I mean, we do have to keep in mind that Square has done demos in the past. Like I'm pretty sure that Kingdom Hearts 1 final mix included a Final Fantasy 10 like promo.
I think 10-2.
10-2, yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
I mean, that's had one. I mean, Dragon Quest VIII had a Final Fantasy 12 demo.
Yeah.
I want to say something had, like, a Final Fantasy 7 demo attached to it.
That's too old for me. I don't know about that.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, they've bundled demos with things before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also something that I'm not sure they would make a huge deal of like they have with 15. Because 15 is this entire weird... I don't know. The entire thing with how they're handling demo with 15 is just really weird. It's just, I just don't know how, I don't think they do the same thing to pretty much any other game.
15 is a mess, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't even know how I feel about 15 yet, because so much has, like, changed over the years, and it's just, what are you doing? What are you doing?
It is. I have a lot of negative feelings about Final Fantasy 15, like, to the point where before I was like, yeah, I'll play the game, like, a little bit after it comes out, but at this point, I'm like, I'm not playing this fucking piece of trash game. I'm more or less just, I'm not at that point yet, but I am at, like, a rather apathetic view of it, of just, like, I don't know. Before I was apathetic, I've moved into rage.
Yeah, I haven't made that jump yet. Given how Square's been doing it, I may make that jump sooner rather than later, though. But yeah,
we can do a whole episode.
Yeah,
about 15.
but
we will.
Like the entire thing is that what they're doing with 15, I don't think they'll really replicate with any other game.
I don't either.
That's not a way you should be running a video game business.
Yeah. So back to the LinkedIn profile. Like I said, he also mentions working on Kingdom Hearts 3. Which, could explain a misplaced bullet point and attraction flow and everything. But one of the other big things that he mentioned was working with Disney and Pixar for Kingdom Hearts 3. People were really excited about that, but I'm like, did we not know that Pixar worlds are going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3? Like, why is this something to be really excited about?
It's because they've never been in it before.
Okay.
And people have been asking for it since the first Kingdom Hearts game, and over 10 years later, they still haven't gotten one.
I mean, I think it's more of a confirmation now, because the only people that we've seen working with them so far are people from the Disney studio, or like Roy Conley. I mean, if he worked on some of the Pixar movies, I feel like then people would already kind of have a feeling that maybe something was like that, or something like that was going to happen. But something else about the Pixar thing, I feel like that they forget that, I mean, Pixar has been included before with Chicken Little as a summon, and
Chicken Little wasn't Pixar.
No, it's not.
Was he? I thought he was.
No, he wasn't.
Oh my god, I've been lied to. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Chicken Little was one of Disney's like 3D animation.
Really?
Thing.
Oh
it
my
wasn't
gosh.
Pixar.
A lot of people told me that. Okay, never mind. We have no confirmation of Pixar. I'm sorry.
But I mean, Disney and Pixar are like the same thing now.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
In the past, Pixar was like a separate entity, but I'm pretty sure Disney like bought them out a couple years ago.
They bought them out. Well, that's the thing, that like they bought them out, and then there's been like 3 other Kingdom Hearts games after that buyout, and it was still like.
And that is true, but I don't think it's been like a big Kingdom Hearts game. For a lot of the games that came out after Disney bought Pixar, it was just kind of like recycling worlds.
I mean, Dream Drop Distance didn't really recycle worlds.
That's true. That's true.
I think
Dream Drop Distance had its own problems with the worlds, and anybody that, you know, I've bitched about Hunchback too many times, but I mean, I don't think that that's any redeemable thing to say that 3D had new ones.
But like, not only that, but Pixar, of course, movies are extremely popular, and I feel like they would want to do a fully realized Pixar world. You know, they wouldn't add it to, like,
I think it's less people being surprised, and more people are like, wow, they're finally putting a Pixar world in, because.
But I feel like we already. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I was already like, yeah, Pixar's definitely going to be in it.
It was like assuming like that. It's just it was less as a surprise. It was more like, okay, that's going to be in now. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, there was no like level of like, yes, Pixar in Kingdom Hearts 3 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's like,
plus
people
I'm like fuzzy on the line between Disney and Pixar altogether. Like, I don't go through the list of Disney movies and be like, oh, well, that's a Pixar film. I don't know or care.
I just looked up a list on Wikipedia, so.
Yeah, it's just especially because there's been hints of it in the past.
Yeah.
With the Toy Story stuff, but it's kind of nice to have like, okay, yeah, sure, this is going to be a thing.
I mean, I can sort of see why they haven't done it yet, because, I mean, most of the Pixar movies that I can think of on the top of my head were more 3D than 2D, and I mean, you had Pirates of the Caribbean, but I hear some people saying that the Pirates world was not, like, well responded to, and I don't know how true that statement is, but I don't know, maybe now, since they're doing more of, like, the 3D-ish movies, like, Tangled and Big Hero 6, that they'll go back. But I mean, in Kingdom Hearts 2, I don't know if there were any that were on. I mean, there
was Pirates of the Caribbean. There's Tron. There was.
But again, I mean, some people there are mixed feelings about those ones. I think so. For them,
the Tron thing was that like it got announced that Tron would be in Kingdom Hearts 2, and everybody was just like, what the hell is Tron?
Yeah,
because Tron is like this weird fringe sci-fi movie from the 1980s that like everybody forgot about. I knew about it because I love Tron. I think it's a great movie, and I loved Tron before it came into Kingdom Hearts 2. So like Tron, it was just this big like, what is Tron? And so nobody was gonna be like, this is a bad adaptation of Tron, because nobody has seen Tron.
I mean, I thought when I can remember thinking Tron was like something original that they created, because it never dawned on me that no, this is a Disney movie. But I'm from a different generation than when Tron came out. So.
I am too. I'm not aging myself that much. Tron came out in the 80s.
Pirates of the Caribbean is much more popular though, and so maybe. Yeah.
Pirates was weird. Like, speaking from somebody that was in the Kingdom Hearts fandom when Kingdom Hearts 2 was being developed, and then when it came out, Pirates, like, we all felt weird about it just because of the kind of graphical discordance, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
That it was weird because, like, first of all, you had Sora running around with, like, actually a very nicely rendered world for the PlayStation 2, like, with this, like, pretty realistic-looking Captain Jack Sparrow, and then you have, like, Goofy right next to him. and it's just that was weird and discordant, but I don't think that people were upset with like how it was adapted, and I think it was one of the more fun worlds in Kingdom Hearts 2.
I agree with that.
I really liked it as well, and I mean, I had no appreciation for Luxord because I just didn't remember him very well, but when I saw Luxord again, and even some of the other organization members, but Luxord was in the Pirates role, I was just like, wow, Luxord's a badass. Why? Yeah. Where have you been all my life, you know? So I feel like, I don't know, Pirates, even if it was bad, I feel like that may have or might have redeemed itself that way.
Yeah, I think one of the only other things I can think of to say against it, like other than the graphics thing, is just that like the other worlds kind of play into that like theme of like friendship and love and hearts and stuff, whereas Pirates not so much.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess it could feel like a little bit of a break from that, but I kind of need and want a break from that sometimes.
I mean, I'd say, to an extent, the same thing, but I mean, you did have Will trying to go after Elizabeth and save her, so I feel like there was a little bit of the friendship there, but yeah, definitely it was one of the more darker ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus it really ups the hotness of Kingdom Hearts 2 by adding Keira Knightley. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the Pirates world, though oddly enough, that was probably one of the most censored worlds when they finally brought it to the US, which, that's okay, whatever. But, like, I enjoy stuff like that. Like, I even enjoyed the Tron world to some extent, because it was...
I really liked the Tron world.
Well, you also like Tron.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't know how people don't like Tron. Like, why do you not love yourself and love Tron?
I shouldn't say that because I also like Tron. But they're nice breaks from kind of the usual fare that you would get in a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah.
And I think that's having a break from stuff is needed because, especially with how speaking of Kingdom Hearts 2, but especially how Kingdom Hearts 2 was set up, they didn't have the best flow in terms of how that game played out. So having at least something as a break, I guess, was nice.
I wish that people could consider Atlantica just as much as a break, too. I have a thing with Kingdom Hearts 2 Atlantica that I mention sometimes. But I mean, I wish that people could go that extra mile, too, to say that.
Like, I don't mind Atlantica, but it isn't a break in the same sense, because it's...
Yeah, I know, I was just saying.
Well, it is because it is a minigame world, so it's like kind of a break from the format. And like Kingdom Hearts 1 had that to an extent with 100 Acre Wood, and Kingdom Hearts 2 actually also has 100 Acre Wood for that. And like, especially with Kingdom Hearts 2, not only are there more Disney worlds than Kingdom Hearts 1, but you're visiting them twice. So I think it can get kind of tiring to like go to them one after the other. So it's nice to have like Atlantica where you're like, okay, this is at least something somewhat different. And Pirates of the Caribbean where you're like, okay, this is somewhat different. And Pirates of the Caribbean also added like that cool gameplay mechanic of like you can only attack the pirates in the moonlight. So like that, I mean, it's such a little thing, but it does at least like kind of, you're not just like robot playing through everything. Be like,
the thing with Atlantica and Kingdom Hearts 2 is that I wish there was just a little bit of exploration in it. Because like, I mean, if you look at the 100 Acre Wood, there was very minute amounts of like, hey, let's just look around for stuff a little bit. And same thing with Birth by Sleep with Toontown, or what is it Toontown? Disneytown.
Toontown.
Toontown's a totally different game.
Yeah, I actually watched like Who Framed Roger Rabbit like 2 nights ago, and that's just on my mind. But yeah, Disneytown, where it was like, there's a bunch of mini games there as well, and it was mostly a mini game world, but there was some exploration that you could do around that and stuff. That was the only thing I would have liked out of the Atlantica Kingdom Hearts 2 world, because it was like, why even like have that swimming thing when you're just talking to people to initiate a minigame, instead of like, they would have just had like a little area or something you can just like explore. No fighting, you don't need to fight, but if you could just explored a little bit, that would have been nice.
One thing I really liked about Atlantica and Kingdom Hearts 2 also, we're getting really off topic, but one thing I really liked about Atlantica there too was that you couldn't actually just play it all in one sitting unless you just saved up like everything. Like you were meant to like do another world and like unlock something and then go back to Atlantica, play a song or two, and then go and do your thing. So I liked it as like something to return to, and again to like kind of break up the repetitive action of the other worlds. So I liked that as well.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people didn't do that though, because I don't know, some people may have heard, oh, it's a minigame world, and just skipped it, and then to complete the journal you had to do it all in one like all of the songs, and then you had to do them all over again. So I can see why people that did it that way might be a little bit like, why am I here? And I just want to go and, like, shoot myself because I've heard Part of Your World, like, for the 5th time now because I cannot figure out how to do, like, the switching triangle thing or whatever is in that one. Like, I can see that happening.
That minigame world got a little bit more annoying in the remastered because it wasn't calibrated for HD TVs, so timing was off on a bunch of button prompts.
Well, I still haven't bought Kingdom Hearts 2.5, but first of all, why would hearing Part of Your World over and over again be a problem for people? Part of Your World is great. And secondly...
maybe just... I mean, I think after a while, like, maybe not that one, but especially Under the Sea.
Swim
that was
This
one...
Way?
Yeah, or one of those. I mean, I had trouble with Under the Sea, and I had to keep doing it, and eventually I just muted it.
Great also.
I guess, but I mean, I don't know, like... You hear Sora singing sometimes, and his voice isn't bad. Like,
Darling,
I love Sora's.
It's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. It's really funny
Not
too
only
if you
Goofy
have
is a little bit, like, cringeworthy, so I can understand why people may be a little annoyed. I mean, I love the singing in Atlantica because I'm a musical person, and just I love that kind of stuff. But I am the 1%.
I don't know. I feel like me and Cal need to start like an effort, like a collective of people that like Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts and kind of address these.
See, that's the other thing about Kingdom Hearts is that because I actually like the singing because, like, that's what I know Disney movies have, and that's something Kingdom Hearts never really had. So having a singing mini-game world seemed like, yeah, this makes sense. This should be in here.
Yeah. I like the singing.
We need more singing. There needs to be a singing.
Really do.
He's so, like, he's so cute.
With everybody singly coming back for Kingdom Hearts 3, there needs to be, like, a huge singing number in that game.
I mean, there is stuff like, there's a Kingdom Hearts fan musical that I have listened to and watched, and they wrote all their own music for it, and I was just like, if only, man, if only. But I mean, you know, Harry Potter has a musical. Kingdom Hearts needs one too. That's what I say. But that's off topic and should go back.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 though.
Yeah.
We got so off topic.
Yeah, well, that always happens, especially with the Kingdom Hearts.
I mean,
episodes.
we never get to talk about Kingdom Hearts. Like, let us live, man.
Honestly, our Kingdom Hearts off-topic, like, digressions usually ends up being about Atlantica.
That is true. And
that is all my fault.
Yeah, well, I like Atlantica. So, finally, on Richard W. Van Deventer's, I don't even know, LinkedIn profile, he lists multiplayer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, multiplayer is always something that's been thrown around for Kingdom Hearts 3. The team has said that they want to explore the possibility, but this is, like, the first time that we're hearing it might actually be in there. Whether or not it makes its a release is a different story, and what it will be exactly is, you know, a whole mystery, but it is interesting, I think.
Yeah, like, as you mentioned, they've toyed around with multiplayer and, like, Chain of Memories and Birth by Sleep and
Chain of Memories, really?
Yeah, yes. The GBA version had
I was gonna say, because
I
don't remember the Kingdom Hearts 2 one, or the PlayStation 2 rather. But
the
yeah,
GBA
I mean,
one was cute. It was like one person plays as Sora and the other plays as like anti-Sora, and you like battle.
That's nice.
Why they didn't make one Riku was beyond me, because Riku is playable, but
poor Riku.
I really love this multiplayer because it goes back to the entire handheld thing when you had a link cable between Game Boy.
Oh man. Cal, I don't know if you lived that life. I don't know.
No, I didn't. I never had a Game Boy or anything like that. But I mean, I did I did have like the original DS when it did eventually come out.
But so that had wireless.
That's true.
We're talking about when you had to be sitting next to the person with a cable between the two of you. And like, I don't know if this was just me, but the link cables always just like did not work very well.
They were cheap as hell.
Yeah. Okay, so that wasn't just me.
Yeah,
so like half the time you would be like, is it working? Is it working? And it wasn't, and it was just it's a throwback. It's a throwback.
Yeah, I remember I bought that entirely for Pokemon. I think
Pokemon
everybody bought it for entirely for Pokemon.
Because like everything else, it was just like, oh, okay, this is the thing. But Pokemon, like some of your Pokemon can only evolve through trade and like, of course, battling each other's Pokemon. And then like Gold and Silver had this thing called like Time Machine that you could only use if you had a link cable, but I never knew what it was, and I could never get it working. So I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, Pokemon.
But yeah,
You could also duplicate Pokemon through the link cable as well, which was a big
those
thing.
classic Pokemon games, there was a bunch of just glitchy stuff you can do.
Yeah, I duplicated a lot of Pokemon through my box office computer, or not box office computer, Bill's computer, but I actually lost my Flareon doing that, and I was really upset.
That's a real bummer.
Yeah.
But,
I haven't played. I mean, I've played Pokemon, but I don't understand.
Yeah, like I've done that entire like glitchy stuff when I was just like, what would happen if I caught this missing? No.
Oh no.
And that just kind of ruined that entire game. But yeah, they've always toyed around with multiplayer, and if I was going to guess the type of multiplayer that would be in Kingdom Hearts 3, I would say it'd probably be a cooperative type thing, not necessarily a competitive thing.
Yeah, I don't know about that actually,
because it just makes more sense and it's easier to balance that way than
that's true.
Because like because the entire point of the Kingdom Hearts game is like Sora is just this overpowered being by the end of the game that it's hard to balance that out fighting another human being.
But I mean, they did kind of account for that in Birth by Sleep multiplayer, is that you could have preset stats and commands, I think, or you could use your own on your saved character, whatever. So, I mean, I abused that because I had another friend that played Kingdom Hearts during school, and he did not realize how leveled I was, so I just kind of, like, kicked his ass. He didn't play with me after that, though. But I feel like if it was multiplayer, that they could do something like that to account for somebody's level 99 Sora, if that ever happens.
It's just, like, I'm thinking of, like, the Birth by Sleep arena stuff. Where it's
that's what I see it being.
Where it's almost like a horde mode almost.
I love horde mode, so that's fine with me.
I mean, my mom she saw the multiplayer stuff because I guess IGN is reporting on it or whatever, and I was just like, Mom, you know that I'm a reporter on the Kingdom Hearts news site. You could retweet my links, but whatever. But she's like, do I get to play
IGN?
Yeah, and she sent it to me, and I'm like, yeah, Mom, I know, because I already reported on this new, like...
Oh, God, yeah, somebody, like, put the Big Hero 6 thing on my Facebook profile, like, probably a week after it was announced, and I'm just like, cool.
I know, that was exactly what happened, too, is that she was like, hey, look at this Kingdom Hearts 2.9, and I'm like, yeah, Mom, I know, because, Roxanne sent it to me, like, 30, or not even 30 minutes ago, 3 days ago to put up, but then... Yeah, so I mean, again, more not in misinformation, but that's one of those things with the Kingdom Hearts series is that you're either there at the moment or people like find out what's going on
when
weeks
IGN
later.
reports on it.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
what were we talking about? Multiplayer. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I'm always excited about the prospect of multiplayer, probably for the wrong reasons, not because I really like multiplayer or anything, because I'm not really a multiplayer person, but more so because I like the idea of, like, playing together with people from KH-V, like, having, like, Friday night Kingdom Hearts 3 multiplayer, doing that, but, like, yeah, so I don't see them doing, like, a player versus player thing, like, one person is Sora, one person is Xehanort. That I don't think would work with Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, like they did in Birth by Sleep, it was... I don't know if you could do, like, Aqua against Aqua, but I'm pretty sure you could do Aqua against Terra and, stuff like that, but...
I never played the Birth by Sleep multiplayer, so I did.
A lot. And it was interesting, because you had to be in, like... You could use the internet, but there was also that option that you had to be within a certain radius of the PSP.
Mm.
I don't actually think... I'm trying to think. I don't think you could actually use the internet. You had to use the... I think you had to use the
like
ad hoc
mode. Yeah.
I don't remember
I don't
very
think it actually
well,
had an
so I don't know.
I think it was only local.
Maybe, yeah. It's been a while. My uncle has my PSP Birth by Sleep game, so I mean, I don't...
The best thing about the multiplayer of Birth by Sleep is that you can play the command board against people. And that would be great.
Yeah, I miss that so much. I love the command board, but, like... I don't want to play against AI Cinderella. I'd rather play against... Like, I thought that when they were putting the command board back in, that they would at least say, okay, well, if you have a second person, like a second controller hooked up, you can pick which one you want to be. And so I was like, all right, Jaden, let's do this, because that's my sister, and we were playing together. And then I was just like, oh, okay, well... Because I don't know, I thought that would be kind of a common sense thing, because playing against the AI is sometimes not enjoyable.
But that's an entire thing they'd have to program and plan out and balance.
That's true, I guess.
That's more work than they want to do for a port.
I guess so. I mean, I'm hoping that I would love them to bring the command board back, but I'm hoping that if they do, that's the multiplayer thing that they're talking about. Like, if anything, that they would do something like that. Because the command board was really fun, but I mean, again, we don't know if they're actually going to have command-type things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have a Kingdom Hearts board game in general.
That would be nice. Yeah,
That'd be amazing.
There's Disney Princess Monopoly, so why
Is
not?
there really?
Yeah, I have.
'Cause,
There's a Monopoly for everything.
My
There's
mom
like
sold my
Hearts.
Lord of the Rings Monopoly, so like I need a new one, and I've been torn between like Star Wars Monopoly and like Harry Potter Monopoly, and so yeah.
There's Disney theme, like, there's just general Disney ones, but then the Disney Princess one has, like, you know, Ariel's Castle, buy for this much, you know,
Oh,
stuff
man.
like that. Or, like,
'Cause-
not even just locations, I've played
Actually,
it,
we're not
but-
going to talk about me and Monopoly because that's not a good conversation to have.
Board Games Night with KH-Vids.
I like board games in general, though.
I will not play Monopoly with you guys just because like I get very competitive.
You don't want to ruin our friendship.
Yeah, like, so for the same reason I don't play Mario Kart or Mario Party with people that I like, I will not play Monopoly. Monopoly is, like, worse than Mario Kart and Mario Party for
So
me.
now we know how to tell if Misty hates us. She'll play a competitive game with you.
I'll invite you to my house to play Monopoly with you if I don't want anything to do with you at all. Yeah, so that's kind of everything that we gleaned off of this guy's LinkedIn profile, which is impressive that we talked for like half an hour about this, but go on, Nick.
There is one other thing that, I mean, it's not a surprise, but also wasn't a guarantee, but there is mention of gummy ships returning for Kingdom Hearts 3, which, I mean,
yeah.
It's like, that's not a surprising thing, but it also wasn't a guarantee given... I don't know. It's since, I mean, the last time we had a gummy ship thing was since Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah,
I
I
love
mean,
the
Birth
gummy
by
ship in
Sleep
Kingdom
had
Hearts 2,
the,
though.
Keyblade glider or whatever.
I love those.
Yeah, me too.
I think that they're a cool concept, but you never really got to control them that much.
Yeah, you just
Yeah, I
it's
guess
basically just the overworld map, or I don't know what
I
you
mean,
call
in the mini game thing, you had something that was Keyblade glider-like that you could control, but that was just the racing thing.
Yeah.
Rumble
Also,
racing.
I can't remember how we got anywhere in Recoded, so I can't comment on that at all, but,
I remember
3D
nothing about
had an interesting thing where you would just do the diving
Drop?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me, there's the Winnie the Pooh mini game in Kingdom Hearts 2, and where you're, I think, I don't know if you're flying or what you're doing, but you're flying through the air and you're getting, like, honey bubbles or something to put on your score. See, this is why Kingdom Hearts is so hard to explain to people. How do you explain that? But yeah, that's what 3D's thing was, a little bit like that. But I don't know. I didn't think that the gummy ships would come back. I thought that they would just use a Keyblade glider. And then something funny that I saw in Chi was that they have gummy cars. And I feel like that they're doing... I mean, there's a lot of, like, gummy ship plot holes already. And for them to have, like, well, here's your brand new gummy car, you know, that rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I only saw, like,
Makes sense.
a screenshot of it, so I don't know anything about it or how it helps during the game or whatever, but I guess...
I mean, you could already make a gummy car that just flies.
Maybe.
Like, I've made a car. It looks like a car. It has wheels, and it also shoots things.
It was something
But-
weird to see.
I'm excited for the gummy ship to return because, first of all, in Kingdom Hearts 1, I spent a lot of time as a child making gummy ships, and I made some beautiful ones, by the way, so, you know, just keep that in mind. But, the other thing, too, is that I really liked the changes that they made to it in Kingdom Hearts 2. Not really the gummy ship builder, because I thought that was kind of hard to use, but, I also haven't used it in a long time, so I'm an adult now, so maybe it'll be easier. But I really liked, like, the, teeny ship edition, so, like, how you fought the everything and, like, kind of the... I never played Final Mix, so I never had, like, the gummy ship missions. So, I liked that they kind of added that with Kingdom Hearts 2. So I really love the gummy ship in Kingdom Hearts 2, so I'm excited to see them work on that more and kind of
the gummy
mature
ship.
it.
Yeah, the gummy ship stuff in Kingdom Hearts 2 was a lot more on rails than the first one, which I think it helped because it also made it faster paced.
It did.
And kind of like
it was more exciting too. Like the kind of the camera perspective moved around, and like you felt it was more actiony as opposed to like Kingdom Hearts 1, where you can pretty much just like sit in the middle of the screen and hold X and you'll be okay. Yeah. For like 99% of the gummy ship maps.
That's why I was so glad for Warp Drive that they had that after a while. Because I was just like, I'm never going to go to any of these worlds again. But then Warp Drive happened, and I was like, thank God.
Not just that, but like in Kingdom Hearts 1, there is a very noticeable difference between when you have like the big engine and then like the little one. And sometimes I would like to torture myself by making myself go through like a normal drive with a little engine, and you move so slowly.
I never customize my gummy ships because I cannot, even to this day, I don't understand how to do it, and I don't know.
Like, the Kingdom Hearts 1 was pretty easy. I mean, I guess because, again, I spent so many hours in it as a child, I got pretty used to it. The Kingdom Hearts 2 one, I did end up figuring it out eventually. I'm sure I could figure it out again, but it was a lot more complicated.
The Kingdom Hearts 1 in particular, though, like, there is the gummy ship missions on there. There's one of them that I believe you had to go from Hollow Bastion to Traverse Town.
Oh, God.
And you had to do it using only one engine block and one just like regular block. I think just a cockpit or something like that.
Fam. Nope.
Are those things that you need to complete the game? Because I'm finished just 2, but I haven't done the gummy ship missions. Are they like, are they things that I will have to torture myself with?
They're optional. They're things you need to do if you want to complete your journal.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Oh,
okay.
Oh no!
I mean, I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts 1 right now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's something like, that dawned on me just now. Was like gummy ship missions.
They're easier and more fun in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
yeah, because in Kingdom Hearts 1, you need to complete all the missions in order to unlock the final gummy ship blueprint, and yeah.
Like, I have played Kingdom Hearts 1 too many times for me to torture myself with doing that and completing the game properly, so I know. But yeah, 2 is gonna be, that's an experience.
I really love the gummy ship in 2. I think you'll have fun with it. I like too how you unlock things. Like in Kingdom Hearts 1, in order to get like other gummy ship blueprints, you destroy the ship and then you pick up the blueprint, whereas like Kingdom Hearts 2,
it's a random chance.
Yeah,
that's just annoying.
Yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 2, they just kind of like throw them at you for finishing, so it was like exciting. Like, you've unlocked Falcon level 7.
Yeah, that was the other thing. I love the unlock thing because it was all score based. So you can if you just racked up points, then it will just unlock everything for you. And
Plus, I had a lot of fun building my own teeny ships, actually, and I would name them really, like, creepy things, like Kill and Maim and, like, Tear, and it was fun. I really liked the gummy ship in Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah,
you're amazing, Cassie.
That's kind of our discussion about Kingdom Hearts for the day.
You're great.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions about this LinkedIn profile, and like part of my hilarity in this is just like taking a step back and thinking like, we just did an entire podcast episode on somebody's LinkedIn profile. So
you know what? Whatever we can get, man.
Yeah, and this is like what the Kingdom Hearts fandom has been pushed to.
I guess so. And I mean, like, then there's also the thing with this profile is like, there is that chance that it's just somebody fucking with everyone. And I mean, I know that Nick and a couple of other people were like, this is somebody's professional profile. I don't think that they would, but at the same time, there's always that one like slim chance that that's gonna happen, and we're all gonna be like,
I would say that's a little less likely because he does have a website portfolio as well, and this stuff is on there as well. That seems like a lot of work for somebody to be just like messing around.
I don't know, man.
because because of who I am, I decided to like look up his like the website stats and everything. He's had this website for like a few years at this point.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's worked on other games as well.
Yeah.
Like
he has like he's worked on Mighty
Number
9, Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
Bunch of other stuff, but like because he's actually maintained this website for quite a few years now, it makes me like, no.
That's something that I'm
skeptical
afraid of,
too, Cal.
just in case.
Yeah, like that whole, what was it called? The like plans like mobile Kingdom Hearts game. What was that called?
I don't know.
It was
I know
like,
what you're talking about.
it was Unbroken something.
Unbroken Destiny or something
like that.
Yeah,
it was something weird.
That I still am like, is this
I mean,
legit?
that because they also had a portfolio site, and they've maintained that for a few years. And in fact, the Kingdom Hearts stuff that, when it was eventually reported on, that's been on their site for like 6 months before it was reported on.
I'm just saying, like, I'm with you, Cal, that I feel like sometimes, like, is this legit? Yeah. But, we'll see what happens with this Kingdom Hearts 2.9 thing. Now that the cover has kind of been blown on it, I would say that Square is more likely to announce stuff, but then I don't know what kind of attention Square pays to news sites.
I mean, it was trending, for a while the other day, so I feel like, I don't know, I feel like with that not the teaser, I won't say that, but the 2.9, the screenshots and all that stuff, I feel like,
just announce it.
They'd be like, whatever, if it is real, they'll just think it's fake.
Yeah, generally
something like that. So, I mean, I don't know what they'll do, but I think that this has been getting a lot of attention. I mean, again, it was trending, which is, I guess, not something that's very hard on Twitter, but it's hard enough.
Yeah.
Companies generally don't adjust their plans due to leaks. There's some occasions where they don't adjust their plans, but they acknowledge it. Like, I think EA did that with the Battlefield Hardline, because that got leaked, and this is a thing exists. We'll actually announce the thing at E3.
That's the only thing I could see them do. I mean, TGS is right around the corner. They could very well be announcing it at TGS, and this guy may be just
that's what I thought too,
preemptively.
Yeah.
He's probably in a lot of trouble now. I mean, if they are paying attention,
you don't know though.
For
you
that,
don't know
I
if
kind of
he's
feel
in
bad.
an NDA or anything. He might
That's
not
true.
be. But I the only thing that I could expect them to do would be to say oh yeah, 2.9 is a thing. We're gonna be talking about it at TGS, so just get excited for that. I would hope that they do that, but again, it's Square, so.
It's companies in general, they don't adjust plans because everything is meticulously planned out for a reason.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with it and what it ends up being, but I think that we're pretty confident in deciding what it is. So that lets us move along to user-submitted questions. To submit a question to the KH-Vids Podcast, all you have to do is fill out the form linked to every episode of the podcast or send an email to podcast@KH-Vids.Net. The questions can be directed towards hosts in particular or the group in general. So the first question comes from Hart, actually, who is with us today. Yeah, I'm only doing one of your questions because I want to save some of the other ones for the rest.
I know, I did 3 or 4 on purpose.
That's good, I like that. She asks, what is your favorite animal?
Does it have to be a real animal? Or
no, it does not.
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, I've always been fond of unicorns, even though they don't exist. But I mean, as a real one,
I heard that, Cassie.
I'd say dolphins. I don't know. I'm a water person, ocean stuff. And we went to Marineland, which is basically the healthier version of SeaWorld that you guys might have in the U.S. And we got this dolphin blow-up balloon thing from there, and then I also have a dolphin snow globe, but it's it's not glass, it's actually plastic or something around it, and there's water inside, so you can poke it and stuff, and it'll move around. I don't know, maybe that's why. It's just there's some kind of sentimental thing, and we have a lot of dolphin statues, probably because I've been hey mom, this is something that's cool, can we get it? And even though they say no, my grandparents are kind of hoarders, so they probably were yeah, sure, Cal, whatever you want, and then just bought it, and it's been sitting on the mantle ever since, and it's never going away. So, yeah, there's my answer.
I also love unicorns. I changed when I woke up, but I was wearing a shirt with a unicorn on it, and it's one of my favorite shirts that I've bought in my lifetime.
Oh, is it that
one?
Yeah,
it's a unicorn holding a cell phone, and it says Selfie Queen on it, and it's just the most magnificent thing ever. So I really like unicorns also. I'm not an animal person, so talking about real animals is difficult for me because I kind of hate animals, but I've always really liked elephants. So elephants are,
Elephants are cool.
Yeah, I like them.
They could be cool. They can also be dangerous. All animals can be dangerous, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always liked wolves. I know that's probably a very cliche answer.
I never got the wolf thing.
But
why are people so obsessed
I don't
with
know.
wolves?
I don't know. There's something, it's just something about, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
They're the head of the pack thing. I don't know. Some people think that your animal, what animals do, they mean something.
I just figured out my
about
blood
your
type,
personality.
by the way. Okay, that's off topic. Go on with the animal thing.
I mean, it's sort of not, because people also say that your blood type, like, gives something to your personality, which is weird, and you're going, like, too far psychic people on the internet,
like, kind of
but,
how we
you know, whatever.
astrology in this country, like, saying, like, oh, I'm a Scorpio, I am a Scorpio, and, like, that's kind of what blood type is to Japan, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that have, like, what are they? Character profiles and, like, visual novels. Like,
that's why they
there's
list blood type.
That explains it. I always just thought that was a weird quirk of Japanese games.
I think that's great, because, I mean, there's a not a visual novel, but it's this game, and it's called Yandere Simulator, and you take pictures of your classmates to... Like,
I've seen this. This is kind of weird.
I love it, and it's not even done yet. It's like 2% development, but everybody is going crazy, and I feel like that's a bad and good thing, but maybe we'll talk about it sometime. But yeah, you take pictures of your classmates, and it says, oh, personality type, you know, class, or crush, whatever, blood type, and I was just like, huh, that's interesting, but I don't know, I guess I always assumed that it was like, oh, you know, that's like your horoscope. It's still kind of weird.
Yeah, it is.
Because, I mean, people say, like, you know, stuff is written in the stars, but nobody has, I mean, to my knowledge, has said it's written in your blood.
I guess, arguably, the blood type thing is more plausible, because, like, the whole, like, written in the stars thing is kind of up there, whereas blood, like, it's something in you. So,
I guess so. I mean, it has stuff to do
There's
with
been a lot of things where,
like
I mean, I shouldn't say a lot of things, but there's been, like, a lot of stories and folklore and stuff like that where blood played a role in somebody's destiny.
So I was really excited to find out my blood type, and so rather than go to the doctor, which I don't do, my plan was to give blood, but I tried to give blood when I was 16, and I was turned away and told to come back when I was 19, which is bullshit, because I met the height and weight requirements, so there was no reason to turn me away. I also wanted to know if I was anemic, so that was part of it.
You know, doctors do exist.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I guess this way you're also doing it for a good cause.
Yeah, but I finally gave blood a month ago, actually. Yesterday was the day that I could finally give blood again, because you have to wait a while, because you can only give so much. And so I got the results, and my blood type is A+. So, yay for me. Yeah.
Yay. I'm not sure what my blood type is, to be
I
quite
don't know.
honest.
I would probably ask my mom, because it's probably on your birth certificate, right? I mean,
my mom no? For some reason, my mom hates doctors, which is how I got this, like, I'm not going to go to the doctor thing, and so, like, I never had to get blood taken as a child. Like, nobody knew my blood type. They knew my sisters because they were 2 months premature, and so they had to have, like, a lot of medical stuff done to them. Yeah. But me, they never knew my blood type.
I was premature as well, so maybe
they probably would.
It somewhere. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting, too, but I could never give blood, not even, like, to a doctor. I'm not good with needles, so I couldn't.
Bad. I got, like, a brutal a bruise on my arm from it, and I will definitely send anybody pictures of it if they want, because I'm, like, weirdly obsessed with bruises. I think I posted them, actually. I posted them.
I think you posted them.
But it was badass, so I want to give blood again just so I get another bruise like that.
Yeah, it's weird. I've always had a thing about needles, but then, like, 2 or 3 years ago, when I started going to the doctors more often than I used to, I had to do actually, this is probably, I can probably find out that way, because they did take my blood to run tests and everything. But when they did it, it was like, I wasn't aware that they actually stuck me with a needle. Like, that and vaccinations is just like, I didn't feel anything at all when you injected me.
The needle that they use to take blood is actually bigger than most of the needles that they'll use. Even if you're like giving blood at the doctor's office, they take a lot less than when you give blood, so the needle is bigger when you donate blood. It didn't bother me. Like, it was a little uncomfortable when they stuck it in. I didn't really feel it that badly. It was actually after they had taken it out and you finished, you get really itchy where the needle was. That was annoying. But otherwise, it wasn't so bad as far as the needle goes. You are kind of there for a while, and I have low blood pressure, so that kind of affected it a little bit too. But yeah. Back to your favorite animals. Hart, do you have an answer? Do you want to answer your own question?
Yes. Sure, I would love to. My favorite animal is a snow leopard, and I have, like, 3 stuffed snow leopards, and they're adorable.
Do you run OSX Snow Leopard?
No, I do not.
It would be fun if you did, but okay.
That sounds like just like me with all of the dolphin things. Yeah, I mean, I have stuffed, not even, like, not big dolphins, but, like, littler dolphins, and I know I have a Webkins dolphin somewhere. Liking animals is something. It's one of those hobbies that I guess most people do have.
Except me.
Like, of getting their favorite animal stuff.
No.
So
I was never...
Because animals.
I don't like animal. Okay. Next question is from Graxy, and he says, one day you wake up to find yourself in your entire resident town or city converted into Cybermen. Are you a normal Cyberman, Cyber Leader, Cyber Controller, or Cyber Planner? This is Doctor Who reference, if somebody didn't know.
That's me.
I didn't realize that there were different ranks of Cybermen. Yeah, so, I don't know. I'm not into Doctor Who anymore. I was really into Doctor Who for a long time, but I quit it, and I'm kind of over it, so... Yeah.
Same.
I actually quit. It's weird, because you quit off during... What season was
7.
It was 7, and I didn't get to see 7 until, like, almost a year later, because I was just waiting. I was waiting for it to come on Netflix,
was really
because I didn't want to just go it. And then I saw it, and I was, like, texting you, like, during that entire thing, like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Why am I still watching this?
Yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah, I watched up to the Christmas special, and then I quit.
Yeah, then you started, like, warning me about future things. It's like, this is bad.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of happened with Supernatural as well. I mean, I haven't caught up with Supernatural, but I was looking, because I'm writing just a story that, like, came to me in a dream or whatever, and maybe I'll talk about that another day, but it's like, you know, God left heaven, and, you know, somebody needs to run it, so they're getting someone, but whatever. I hadn't watched Supernatural, like, it didn't come from Supernatural, so I'm not ripping anything off, but anyway, so I was looking something up to see, because something occurred to me, like, okay, well, in Supernatural, isn't God gone, but where's Jesus? So on my hunt to figure out where Jesus went in Supernatural, somehow I figured out that the Wicked Witch of the West was in Supernatural, which made no sense to me. That they have, like, Oz and Avalon, and that's what I thought, and I'm like, am I on the wrong Wikipedia? But no, apparently that's a thing that happens, and I'm just like, I'm so glad that I stopped.
Same.
Yeah, Supernatural.
But, yeah, it was
really
just,
bad.
that was a shock to me. I was just like, what? What is this?
Honestly, like, the 6th season of Doctor Who was kind of bad in places, like, the overall plot of it was kind of bad. It had some really good episodes in it, like the God Complex was really good, The Girl Who Waited was really good, but yeah, so, like, you could kind of see it coming, but season 7 was just unforgivably bad of Doctor Who, and I just wasn't interested in continuing with it. I feel like my life is better now that I stopped watching Doctor Who.
You filled it with other things.
Yeah, there's this great post on Tumblr that goes around that's like, what is it? Did Doctor Who end, or did I just unfollow the right people? Yeah, so I'm not into Doctor Who anymore, but I don't know, Cyber Leader, I feel like, sure, I'll be a leader.
I'll just be a regular Cyberman, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, alright. I guess, Cal, do you want to pull out your table topics? We'll do one of those, and then one off the list.
Woo!
Actually, let's do the list ones first, because I feel like we get into fights from the list a lot, and so it'd be better to end with Cal's questions.
That's a good idea, probably. Since, like, Nick
especially last
is
time.
always like, the list is stupid, or whatever.
It is.
The question is stupid.
There's nothing on that
I keep
list.
doing it.
We need to end on a positive note, so yeah, we'll wait.
Yeah, so Hart, you're our guest. If you could pick a number between 1 and 365.
57.
57. Alright, let's see. Have you ever regretted something you did not say or do? This is another example of how the list is bad, because, like, of course everybody has regretted things. But yeah, go on, if there's a particular moment that's coming to mind.
There's quite a few moments, but none that I actually want to share.
Same.
This is why they're bad questions.
I have no problem plastering my personal life all over the internet, so...
I know, me neither.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, there's a lot of things that you can answer this, but the one thing that came to mind is, like, I was in, like, a weird, like, flirtationship with my boyfriend for, like, a couple months before we actually got together, probably, like, 3 months, and we both kind of, I guess, suspected that each other were into each other. I don't know how to phrase that. Actually, he said that he wasn't sure with me because I'm really, kind of taciturn and weird, but, So it's just, like, always this thing between us, like, why did we not do anything sooner? Because, yeah, so, like, all of those times that we could have said something but didn't. It's scary, of course, but, you know, that's what came to mind for me. Cal?
I have a similar thing like that, yeah. I mean, not necessarily, like, a relationship thing, but there was this kid at my school, and we actually talked about Kingdom Hearts a lot, like, sort of. I mean, he commented on my backpack once, and then he actually asked where I got my PlayStation vest, and I told that story, and, you know, we had conversations like that, but I never knew his name, and then when I finally did figure out his name so I could go talk to him, I never did.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, then during media arts, I would stay at the beginning of my class and then, like, post on KH-V and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna finish up some work, sir, because the lab computers are much better than the library ones. And he was actually in the class that was before mine, and I still never talked to him, it was so bad. And I mean, I tried to, sometimes, but I'm a bad person for socializing, and so I never did. And something kind of spooky happened, when I got back to school, was that I was talking to somebody that actually went to my elementary school with me, and then he just came out of nowhere and started talking to the same person, and that's how we reintroduced ourselves to each other, and I was just like, yes! But why didn't I do that earlier? Because I realized how approachable that they actually were, and I felt so, like, defeated in myself. And so, but I actually did was just like, hey, I saw you last year, my name's I introduced myself that way, and I'm like, guess what, Anton? Anton's my friend that has been hearing all of this, like, this ongoing saga since January, and I was like, I was a social person today, guess what happened? So I was, you need to just take risks. Not even a risk. It wasn't even a risk. It was just my own self stopping me from doing something that probably would have been easy for normal people.
Yeah.
You gotta do that stuff, man. Like, if you want to make friends with someone, just try.
Yeah, no
one's gonna turn you away, at least not to your face. So you might as well, like,
just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better
this year between our stories. Just, like, do it. Do it.
I guess for me, it's just like sometimes not speaking how I feel about certain things.
Oh, yeah.
Or talking to certain people. Yeah, I'm boring.
Yeah. Just say what you think. The things that you will regret the most are your silences, in a paraphrased Audre Lorde. Yeah. So go to your pile, Cal, since we used the list.
Woohoo. Okay. This one says, if you could offer your parents one constructive tip on how to be a better parent, what would it be?
This can get dark very quickly.
Yeah, okay, so Dad, don't be an asshole. Mom...
Same.
Mom, maybe be more forthcoming about some things. My mom, for, like, several years now, she's been talking about, A, getting married to her boyfriend, and B, moving. And it's kind of become more serious lately because she just became a regular employee at the U.S. Postal Service, so yay for her. Before she was just, like, a seasonal temporary person, but she just made career. And that means that she can transfer wherever she wants, so she's saying, like, oh yeah, so I can transfer, upstate, because that's where she wants to move. And she is not very open about her plans, and especially the when that she is thinking about moving, and that of course places me in some crisis, and I need to plan around that because I could theoretically not have a place to live if she did move upstate. So, like, obviously I need to know about that in advance, but every time I try to ask her, like, okay, so when are you planning on doing this? Like, where are you planning on moving? Like, give me some information. She's just like, I don't know, we'll see. And I don't know if I should take that as, like, oh, this is a ways away, or just, like, she's not telling me. I don't know. I
understand you completely. Not with, like, this isn't happening with my mom or anything, but, like, I am trying to figure out how Al and I can somehow correlate not our like universe, like, obviously I'm gonna go where I go no matter where he goes, but, like, somehow to meet in the middle as to what we're gonna do, because I mean, eventually I would like us to move in together, or at least, be in the same country. That would be nice. Not too much to ask for. I don't know. But, like, I mean, I have a lot of options for schools, but he's kind of sick of talking about, like, the university stuff, which is understandable, but I'm just like, okay, I need to send in applications, like, now, this year, like, next month, so we need to talk about, you know, like, I know that it's not a fun conversation, but I do not want to be like, you know, okay, Cal, guess what? I'm coming to Canada. Well, Al, like, you know, I'm going to school in France or something like that. So what are we gonna do?
No, yeah,
you know,
it's so
I don't
confusing.
want that to happen.
Yeah, because, like, I'm thinking, like, okay, well, maybe, you know, I could move out and live where I live now on Long Island and try to find something here that I can
Long
afford.
Island friend.
Oh, man, it's... it's a story. And now, like, I'm thinking about transferring schools again. So, like, that is, I need to, like, make plans. I'm very, like, a plan-oriented person. I'm not just kind of wherever I end up. And that makes it really frustrating, too, because, like Cal, I'm, like, talking about with my boyfriend. Like, obviously, I'm not going to base my university plans around my boyfriend, but we have talked about it together. And he is just, like, so cavalier about it. He's like, yeah, I could go there. Whatever. And I'm just like, how can you make these decisions so easily and quickly? And I'm
exactly.
Saying, yeah. I'm just like
I mean,
boys.
I don't want to be that person that revolves their future around their boyfriend, but since that I hope that he will be part of my future, we need to plan something, you know? Like, if it's not, I'm not gonna, like, give up my hopes and dreams, but at the same time, you know, we need to make a compromise of some sort.
Yeah, so it's difficult. So what would you say to your parents? We got a little off topic there again.
Okay, I guess I'll go. Mom, stop fighting with everyone. And Dad, stop walking in and out of my life. Pick one or the other.
Yeah.
Either way is good.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I was gonna say something like that, but a little bit more long-winded. I mean, the thing with my dad is he tried to get involved, like, especially when we were in school, because we would have field trips. Okay, mom, dad, like, you know, they would ask parents to sign up, and he would be like, you know what, sure. But then as the years kind of progressed and the field tripping kind of stopped, the thing that sort of happened was, and this is, like, not just his fault, but every parental in my life is to blame, not just my mom, but other parental figures, is that they would say negative things about him, and so that would influence my decision in inviting him to things, and it's gotten to the point now where, at the same time, I'm old enough to understand what's happening now, because he has, like, some depression problems and whatever, stuff like that, but at the same time, that negativeness has influenced me so much that I got on honor roll this year, and I got the invitation, and you can only invite 2 people, so the first thing I thought of was like, okay, mom, and then my grandpa, who's no, that's what we call him, and my mom's just like, well, what about your dad? And it's gotten to the point where I don't want him there. It's not that I dislike him or anything from that, but it's become such a habit now that's just, like, my instinct is not to involve him, and I feel like that sort of everyone is to blame for that. So I'm sure there are things that everybody could have done to prevent that. It's a little bit late for that now, but yeah, I mean, you know, you shouldn't, I don't want to say brainwash, but that's what they call it when stuff like that happens, is brainwashing your child into thinking certain things about a parent, especially with the divorce stuff and all that. So I feel like there could have been things there to avoid that happening, but there weren't. And then for him, you know, he just needs to push a little more. But I think that now it's become like, oh, well, she doesn't want me there, so why bother, sort of thing. So I don't blame him for that, but at the same time, you know, what can you do?
I don't know, though.
Yeah, I kind of have a similar-ish situation, except my dad lives in a completely different state, like halfway across the country. I'm in New York, he's in Arizona. And he also has 2 other I also have 2 other half-siblings, and they both have 2 other mothers.
Oh, boy.
So that's fun.
I mean, my dad's 30 minutes away from me, so it's not a problem to go see him, but again, it's become that kind of habit of, well, why? You know? So I don't know. I mean, everybody has a different look on stuff like that. I mean, I want to try and fix things, but again, when your nature is that ingrained in you, it's hard to change stuff like that. So, I mean, we can try, and I'm going to try, because I feel like it's influencing my sister a little bit too, is that I think on account of me not involving him and stuff. Like, we used to go to his place every weekend, whatever, but now we've kind of stopped. And, you know, she's busy, she has dance too, but I feel like it was me not wanting to go that also influenced her, and I feel bad for that, but at the same time, like, you know, it's a chain reaction type thing. So hopefully, I mean, if I fix stuff, then even though he's missed out a lot on me, my sister's still young, so he can have that with her. So hopefully it'll work out all right, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could say that I have a similar situation of, like, they tell you things and that kind of affects your relationship of them, but I've always looked at it as honesty, which is a big thing with me, that my dad was never honest about a lot of things that he did and that he said, and my mom would tell me, and she'd be like, I know that this may affect your relationship with him, but I think that it's better that you know what's actually going on. And I was always thankful for that. I would always rather know these things rather than...
Yeah,
I mean, I've tried to find stuff out too, but it's an opposite thing, is that people would say not bad, like, general bad things, and I'd be like, why? And nobody would tell me.
Yeah, like,
so it's kind of like, again, without explanation, like, I cannot pinpoint any reason why that I would dislike him, because there was never a reason given that why I should, other than, like, that he's not here. And I mean, he did try, so it's more of a recent sort of thing, and I don't...
Yeah, I mean, not to pull the age card on you, Cal, because I'm not that much older than you, but, like, I definitely did feel that as a kid. Like, I would ask why something was happening, and nobody would really tell me, and I think that kind of my mom's perspective on it was just that, like, I'm not going to say these things to a kid, but now that I am older and kind of an adult, I think she feels more comfortable telling me the truth about these things. And
I mean, that makes sense, but at the same time, I feel like, well, you know, if kids are old enough to understand something, like, you know, in basic terms, if they're asking about it, I feel like that's a thing too, that they wouldn't be asking if they weren't ready to understand what's going on.
No, I agree.
To some extent. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
and not just that, but, like, when you go through a divorce with your parents, you're not really a kid anymore. That really changes you.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, yes, you're going to be dealing with things that kids your age should not have to deal with, and a lot of your kids your age might not be able to deal with, but because you're going through that, you're kind of in the midst of it, you really... You have a maturity that not a lot of other kids have, and you can, I think, understand a lot of these things. And I think it would have saved me a lot of grief as a child if I had known things early on, because a lot of, like, my issues with my dad as a kid revolved around, like, me inviting him to do things or, like, trying to get him involved in my life, and he just, like, would not show up. And that really hurt me, and that was really disappointing for me, and I feel like if I had known things earlier as a kid, I would not have reached out at all, and that could have saved me a lot of sadness.
I feel like that's the opposite, though, because he comes to everything that we'll invite him to, but now that we don't invite him, he doesn't ask, and I feel like that, I mean, that's sort of just my fault, and just the whole dynamic that what's been happening, like, that's kind of, you know, something that I don't think it's really his fault, because if you feel like that you're not wanted somewhere, or, like, you were reaching out to him and he wasn't, like, responding, then it's the other way around, right?
Yeah.
I guess. So, yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
So much for ending the podcast.
Yeah, this is not really ending on a positive note, but...
Very, very positive note.
Yeah, really. But I joke and say, like, I plaster my personal life all over the internet, but I'm aware that this podcast probably has listeners that are younger than me, and possibly even younger than Cal, which is mind-blowing, and these are things that kids are going through, and I feel very passionately that, even if this is completely off topic from Kingdom Hearts and video games and everything, that these are things that people really need to hear about and know about and talk about, and that because we're in a position where we can kind of address these things, I like to, even if they're totally outside of it.
I feel the exact same way. That, I mean,
I agree.
I've listened to some of the podcasts, even not before I was on the site, but just before I really got active, and I feel like that did influence me a bit, because I'm hearing... even, like, YouTube and stuff like that, any online medium, if you have that power to be reaching out to people like that, it does influence them positively and sometimes negatively too, but mostly on the podcast it's positive.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's always pretty good here. So I mean, yeah, I totally understand. I feel like if I had heard somebody saying that what I was saying, then that would have helped me. So I feel like if we can give somebody else that kind of insight, that's, you know, it's a great thing to do.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Definitely.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
And that's a more positive.
Yeah, there we go. We made it positive. We do usually talk about communities and projects. I don't have anything to bring up. I don't know about you guys.
No.
Nope. Okay.
Nope.
Yep. And so that lets me tell you about all the wonderful ways that you can participate in our podcast. Like I said, you can submit a question to the KH-Vids Podcast by filling out the form link to every episode of the podcast. The questions can be directed towards the host in particular or the group in general. You can apply to be a member guest on the KH-Vids Podcast. All you need is a Skype account, a microphone, and headphones. We would love to have you. You can submit a topic to the KH-Vids Podcast by filling out the form linked in the sticky in the podcast section. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Give us a spoiler cast to do, anything like that. Tell us what you want to hear. And finally, you can leave a comment on every episode of the podcast, and I will probably reply to it, telling us your thoughts on the episode, your thoughts on the topic that we talked about, what you think Kingdom Hearts 2.9 is, the possibility of multiplayer in Kingdom Hearts 3, all those wonderful things, and answer our user-submitted questions. So, that about concludes episode number 106 of the KH-Vids Podcast. Thank you all for listening, and have a Kingdom Hearts day.